Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to see about what is mean by UML diagrams, what is the purpose of learning about UML diagrams, and in UML diagrams, what are the different types of diagrams are there. So we are going to learn about that. Let me share you the screen, my PPT. Okay. So what is mean by UML? UML is nothing but it is Unified Modeling Language. So what is mean by UML is Unified Modeling Language. So what is mean by this is it is a industry standard graphical language for specifying, visualizing, constructing, and documenting the artifacts of a software system. So the basic idea behind this UML is instead of explaining about a model or instead of explaining about a system in terms of words, if you are representing in graphical manner, the user can easily understand what is exactly happening in the system. The UML uses mostly graphical notations to express the object-oriented analysis and design of software projects. So this concept regarding object-oriented analysis and everything, so we'll be studying. And the purpose of this UML is it simplifies the complex process of a software design in a very simple manner. Okay. So as I said you before, this UML is a standard language for specifying, visualizing, constructing, documenting, business modeling, and for communications. Okay. Why UML for modeling? It uses graphical notation to communicate more clearly than natural language. So as I said you before, instead of expressing everything with the use of our basic communication, that is with the use of words, if you are representing in graphical notation, it can be easily understood by the user. And also it helps us to acquire an overall view of a system. UML is not dependent on any particular language or technology. UML moves us from fragmentation to standardization. So with the use of this UML, that is Unified Modeling Language, if you are drawing the diagrams, so what it will do is that it will standardize the system. So that is what model we are going to develop. So it will standardize the thing. And also it simplifies the software design process. Okay. So these are the types of UML diagrams. UML class diagram, object diagram, component diagram, deployment diagram, use case diagram, interaction diagram, state chart diagram, and activity diagram. So each and every diagram is having its own purpose. That is, if you are having class diagrams, so we'll be having different classes. So how all those classes are getting connected with each other, how they are relating with each other. So like this, each and every diagram is having its own purpose. So in this video, we are going to see only this use case diagram and class diagram. So how to develop a use case diagram, how to draw use case diagram and class diagram with the use of which software. Okay, so the first is use case diagram. So to model a system, the important aspect is to capture the dynamic behavior. So the purpose of using this use case diagram is, it is a diagram which is used to depict the dynamic behavior of a particular system, particular model, we can say it. So what is mean by dynamic behavior? So all of us, we know what is mean by dynamic behavior is that it means the behavior of a system when it is running, when a process is running, when it is operating. Okay, what is the behavior? What is the behavior of a particular system? So that has to be depicted. So this use case diagram is one among the diagram which is used to depict that. That is the dynamic behavior. Okay. So obviously we know static behavior is not sufficient for a model. So if it is a dynamic behavior, okay, then and there, whatever the changes are happening in that model, that can be depicted in this use case diagram. So that is the idea behind this. So in UML, there are multiple diagrams available to model the dynamic nature. So use case diagram is one among them. Okay. So in use case diagram, we are having the following things, that is actors, use cases, and the relationship between the actors and use cases. So let me tell you what is meant by actors. So actor is that whoever wants to communicate with a particular system, okay, they are known as the actors. Okay. So what is meant by use cases? So I'll give you one example so that you can easily understand what is meant by actor, what is meant by use cases, and what is meant by relationship and everything. Let me explain you what is meant by use cases is that whatever the model we are taking, what are the actions performed by the use case, by a particular system, that is known as use cases. Okay. So actors are nothing but the people or the person, those who are communicating with a particular system, particular model. Use cases, what that particular model will do. What are the various actions taken care by a particular system? That is known as use cases. Okay. So what is meant by relationship is that how these actors and use cases are connected to each other. So that is known as relationship. So in relationship, we are having several relationships. So I have mentioned here some of them, which is includes association, aggregation, extents, and so many things are here. So we'll see one by one. Okay. So this is one simple example how we can draw use case diagram. This is example of ATM. Okay, all of us, we know what is meant by ATM. ATM is a machine which is used to withdraw the money, or we can deposit it. We can get our account balance, and several things we can do it. So what are the several things I have mentioned here that will be considered as use cases? And whoever is communicating with the system, they are known as the actors. Okay, if you are seeing this picture itself, you can easily understand the thing what I have explained you right now. Okay, if you are seeing here, see, customer is one actor, ATM is one actor, and teller is one actor. All right, so teller we can consider here as the bank person, right? Okay, so what are the actions we can perform in this? Make deposit, make withdrawal, get account balance, transfer between accounts. So this is my ideology. Based on my ideology, I have decided these are the various use cases that can belongs to this ATM. But it doesn't mean that you can use only these use cases. So whatever the idea you're getting regarding the system, that you can make it as use case and draw your own use case diagram. Whatever the diagram, you can draw your own diagram. Okay, so according to my idea, so what are the use cases I'm considering here is that make deposit, make withdrawal, get account balance, transfer between accounts. All right. Okay. So these use cases, you just consider who are all connected with this. So if you are thinking of this system, so before developing something, right? So we should have some idea how the system is working. Right. So all of us, we know. So why I have taken this ATM is, so all of us, we know how this ATM is working. So just we'll go inside the card, we'll be giving the username and password. And if it is okay, so it will be displaying us our account balance or whatever it is. If you want to deposit or withdraw or whatever the action we want to do, we can do with that, right? Okay. So that is why I have taken this as examples. You can easily understand the process of the system, right? Okay. So here, for example, I have given this 4 as use cases. So apart from that, if you want to give anything else, that also you can give here, right? Okay. So let us consider this 4 use cases. These use cases are related with, okay, first we'll consider make deposit. Okay, who are all connected with this use cases? Okay, as I said you before, customer, ATM, and teller are the 3 actors present in the system. Okay, who are all connected with this make deposit? The customer can deposit some amount, right? Okay. So whatever the thing he is depositing, this ATM, so it has to have the account. Okay, so it is connected to that. And teller, so as I said you, this can be considered as bank. So they must have, that is the bank person must have what is that? The balance that has to be uh, changed, okay, in a particular person's account, right? So in the same way, if you're seeing this picture, so who are all related with these use cases, they will be connecting with the use of relationship, right? These all these lines are known as relationships. So so this will be depicting the relationship between the use cases and diagram. Okay. So we'll draw this diagram in this is star UML, okay? So this is star UML software, which is used to draw the various UML diagrams. So once you have opened this, your screen will be like this. Okay, how to draw this? Let me explain you. So according to your idea, you can also develop the use cases, okay, right? Okay, so if you're seeing your right side, there is a thing which is known as model. You just right click this, add a diagram, go to add diagram. And then if you're coming here, use case diagram is here. You just click this. Okay, if you have noticed here, these things are changed according to the use case diagram. Whatever the shades we are using, whatever the relationship we are using, whatever the thing we are using in use case diagram, according to that, here this place will be changing, right? Okay. So what we learned in that example diagram? Okay. ATM, right? Okay. I'm drawing this use case subject. I'm naming it as ATM. Okay, press enter. So this will come here. So as we discussed, as we saw in that diagram, we are having 4 use cases. So first one is that make deposit. Okay, press enter. And then the next one, make withdrawal. Press enter. And then whatever the other actions we are doing, that also can be considered here, right? A use case, and then make withdrawal, deposit, check balance. Okay, press enter. Okay, we'll consider these 3 things, okay? And then if I want to give the actor, so just press the actor and place it here. So this we'll consider as customer, okay? And then the next actor, you just have this as bank, okay? We'll consider this as bank, okay? Then we have to mention the relationship between the use cases and the actor. For mentioning that, go here, that is left side of your window. These are the relationship mentioned here. Okay, just press association and from customer to this use case, make deposit. And then from customer to this make withdrawal. Okay. This way, okay. So in this way, how this bank is connected with this use cases. So it depends. Okay, in a simple manner, I'm drawing this and showing you. But according to our idea, we can give the relationship. Okay. So in this way, we can draw the use case diagram of a particular system. So as I said you before, instead of explaining everything with the use of words, it is tough for us to understand what a particular system is saying. But if you are giving in a graphical manner, so if I'm seeing this itself, I can easily understand, okay, there are two actors are there in the system and three use cases are there in the system. So this is connected with this. So we can easily understand. So this is the idea behind this UML diagrams. So use case diagram is one among them. Okay. Okay, going back to the presentation. Okay. Okay. So I have given some of the industry-based questions related to this use case diagram. One is, how can use case diagram be used in software development industry? See, as computer science students, so after this, we are going to work in any company, that is IT company or something like that, okay? So wherever you're entering there, so they'll be giving you the project. It means that you have to sit and think how the particular project, that system will be working. The customer, they'll be giving the requirements to us. So based on the requirement, how to go with that, how to satisfy the customer, that is, who has given that project. So we have to think accordingly. So for that purpose, so if you are using this UML diagrams, it will be easy for us to make the other people to understand, okay, and we'll be clearly defining what the system is doing. And also we can easily understand what is the role of each and every person, those who are involved in that system. So that is known as the actor, what we discussed earlier. So this is the idea behind this, okay? So the first case is, how can use case diagrams be used in software industry? Software development industry. Use case diagrams are crucial in software development industry to define, clarify, and organize system requirements. They help identify different user roles, their interaction with the system, and the various functionalities of the system needs to provide. So when you're entering inside the software industry, simply will not go and sit in front of the system. I know Java, I know the other programming languages. Simply, I cannot develop. Before started developing your software, your model, so you must have these diagrams so that it is easy for you to understand what the system is doing. So based on that, we'll be successfully developing that software. Okay, the second question is, in the context of business analysis, how do use case diagrams contribute to requirements gathering? Use case diagram help business analysts understand the functional requirement of a system by visually representing user interactions and system functionalities. This is the main point, that is, we are visually representing something about a particular system. They provide a clear picture of how users will interact with the system and what features are expected. Okay, the third question is, can use case diagram be used in non-software industries? Obviously, yes. Obviously, yes. Wherever we are creating a model, wherever we are systematically doing something, these UML diagrams, use case diagrams, all the other diagrams can be used. The main purpose of this is that it will be standardizing the system, what we are doing. It is not only for software development, it can be implemented in the non-software industries also. How do use case diagrams aid in system testing and quality assurance? Use case diagrams serve a foundation for test case generation. Testers can use them to ensure the implemented system meets the specified requirements with validating each use case's expected behavior and interaction. Okay, so this is a very good point. This is a very good question. Okay, see, once we developed our system, okay, the testers will be testing whether a particular system is working properly or not. Okay, so how they'll be testing with the use case of this, with the use of this use case. Okay, so in this use case, So clearly everything will be depicted, right? So what is the role of a particular user, what each and every use case will do. So everything will be tested with the use of this use case diagram. Next one is that in project management, next question is in project management, how can use case diagrams be utilized to plan and track progress? Use case diagrams assist project managers in breaking down the overall project into manageable components, right? The thing is, we'll be having a very big project in our hand, okay? And it is very tough to understand the whole project. So what the project managers, they'll be doing is that they'll be segregating the whole project into a very smaller projects, and each and everything will be handed over to a particular person. So this use case diagram, it really helps the project managers in breaking down the overall project, because the thing is that that is we are visually representing everything, graphically representing everything. So it will be easy for the managers to manage, right? They help identify dependencies between different use cases. Suppose for example, you just consider we are having 4 or 5 modules in a project, right? So each and every projects, each and every modules are related with each other. Okay. Suppose, for example, if I'm developing module 1, then only module 2 can be developed. If I'm developing module 3, then only module 5 will be developed. So if, in this case, so what the manager can do is that whoever is managing the project, so if they are seeing this use case diagram, they can easily understand, okay, which one has to be proceeded first, which one has to be proceeded next. So that kind of idea, they can plan it. So within a particular time, you have to complete this first module, second module, like that, they can plan so that easily they can track the progress. And sixth question is that, are there any industry specific standards or best practices for creating use case diagram? Different industries may have their own standards or best practices for creating use case diagram. In software engineering, the UML is commonly used, and there are generally accepted guidelines for creating clear and effective use case diagrams. So obviously, each and every company, they'll be having their own standards. Someone they'll be following ISO, someone they'll be following some other standards which are which are related to them. But in software engineering, that is in software development, we are using this UML, that is your Unified Modeling Language. So it is having its accepted guidelines. So obviously in software engineering, we are using this. For other industries also, as we discussed, it can be used. Okay, this is regarding the use case diagram. Next, we'll go to the class diagram. Okay. So this that is UML diagrams are based on object-oriented analysis. So what is meant by this object-oriented? Okay. So the thing is, whatever in a particular system, whatever the thing we are using, right, everything will be considered as an object. Everything will be considered as an object. Okay, let us consider the previous example, ATM system. Okay. So whatever it is, whatever the actions we are doing, okay, we are making deposit, we are withdrawing the amount, we are checking the balance, and we are transferring some funds. So these are the various actions we are performing. Okay, each and everything will be considered as a class here. Object here. All the object will be mentioned in a particular class. Okay. So obviously we'll be learning about this object-oriented concept before coming to this. So you can easily understand what is meant by class diagram. So, okay. So class diagram, it depicts a static view of an application. It represents the types of object residing in the system and the relationship between them. So obviously use case diagram is also depicts the relationship between the use cases, right? So this is also used to do the same, but the difference is that each and every class, what are the various objects are present into that, and how each and every object is related with the other classes, or how it is related with the objects which are present in the same class. So these ideologies, so we can get from this class diagram. Okay, next one is a class consists of its object and also it may inherit from other classes. So this is very, very important concept in object-oriented programming, that is inheriting. So the thing is that you will be getting the properties of the parent class. So as I said you before coming to this class diagram, so you'll be knowing what is meant by object-oriented programming. So the concept behind this. So you'll come to know what is meant by inherit. A class diagram is used to visualize, describe, document various different aspects of a system and also construct executable software code. Okay, this shows the attributes, classes, functions, and relationships to give an overview of a software system. It constitutes class names, attributes, and functions in a separate compartment that helps in a software development. Since it is a collection of classes, interfaces, associations, collaborations, and constraints, it is termed as structural diagram. This is very, very important. Class diagram is known as a structural diagram. Okay, this is again the same ATM machine. Okay, so this is the class diagram, example of class diagram. Okay, here, so this ATM card is a class. This customer will be considered as a class. ATM machine is known as a class. Banking system is known as a class. And whatever the transaction we are doing is a class. So everything will be considered as a class. So whatever the thing we are presenting inside this class are known as objects. Okay. First, we'll see what is this ATM card. ATM card is, we know what is there in that. Okay, card number, bank name, expiry date, our name, and the other details it will be present in that ATM card. Okay, so that will be considered as object. Okay, and here I'm having only one function which is used to known as get account. And then here customer is a class, so it is having several objects like customer name, address, phone number, card number, and the other details also, and what are the various functionalities related to the customer. So in the same manner, we are having different classes in a particular system, and we are having the objects related to a particular class and the function related to a particular class. Okay. So we'll see how to the same thing. So what I explained you in use case diagram, how to draw the class diagram, we'll see in star UML. Okay, so how to do this? I think all of you know how to do this. Yeah, we'll go to this new. Okay. Next, what we have to do? Go to this model, right click, add diagram, come to this class diagram. Okay, so if you are seeing here, we can have a look. So the previous in use case diagram, we had some other things here, right? But here in class diagram, see, we are having the related things which are related to the class diagram. If I'm selecting this class and placing, I can mention the class name ATM card, right? So here, okay, here I can mention the, what is that? The objects which are related to the ATM card. Attribute 1. Okay. So we have to change the name here. In the same manner, we can have several classes and how each and every classes are related with each other. So that we have to mention here. Okay. So these are the here association, directed association, aggregation, composition, dependence. So everything with the use of that, we can connect all these um, classes which are present in a particular system. Okay, right? And then coming back here. Yeah, these are all the various industry-based questions. How do class diagrams contribute to the software development process? Class diagram play a crucial role in software development by providing a visual representation of a system structure. So as we discussed, this is known as structural diagram. They define classes, their attributes, methods, and relationships, helping developers understand the architecture and design of the program, design of the system. So in terms of software architecture, how can class diagrams assist in designing scalable and maintainable system? Class diagrams helps in designing scalable and maintaining system by illustrating the relationship and dependencies between classes. They enable developers to identify potential bottlenecks, encapsulate functionality appropriately, and design modular and extensible systems. See, once we are developing this class diagram itself, we can easily understand where the problem is occurring, where these bottlenecks are occurring, so that based on that we can change the model, that is the system, so that it will be useful for them. And the next one is, how are class diagrams used in the context of code generation and implementation? Class diagrams can serve as a basis for code generation tools, so which is used to generate a code. Software developers can use class diagram to automatically generate code, reducing the manual effort involved in translating design to implementation. See, as I said you before, once we want to develop a system, first we have to develop a model, right? That model we have to convert into coding for implementation. Okay. Otherwise, we cannot satisfy the customer's requirement. Okay. So, what this class diagram is doing is that this class diagram will automatically generate code, reducing a manual effort involved in translating design. So, from the design to implementation, so this will automatically generate the coding based on the relationship what we have mentioned in that, right? Okay, next one is, are there any specific design patterns or anti-patterns that can be identified using class diagram? Yes, class diagrams can help identify design patterns such as singleton, observer, factory patterns by illustrating common structures and relationship. On the flip side, they can also reveal anti-patterns like tight coupling or excessive dependencies, which can be detrimental to system maintainability. So which are all the factors are involved into a particular system, which will affect the maintainability of a system, that also can be easily identified. How do class diagrams contribute to system documentation, knowledge transfer within the development team? Class diagrams provide a concise and visual representation of a system structure, making them valuable for documentation. They facilitate knowledge transfer by offering a clear overview of classes, their attributes. See, to how extent we are working in this class diagram is that each and every attribute of a particular class that we'll be mentioning into that. And also we'll be mentioning the relationship between the those attributes, what we are mentioning in the in a particular class. So the knowledge transfer, that is usually they'll be saying KT. Okay, when you are entering inside the software industry, they'll be telling that if suppose we are recruiting a person for a particular project, the manager has to give a KT to the new person. So KT means that knowledge transfer. That is whatever the knowledge this manager is having, so that will be transferred to a particular person so that they can easily understand and they can start at implementing according to the requirement of the customer, right? Next one is, can class diagrams be used in industries other than software development? Yeah, yes. While class diagram predominantly associated with software development, their principles can be adopted to other industries involved in systems engineering, and understand the structure of interconnected components is essential. What role do class diagrams play in the context of agile development methodology? In agile methodologies, class diagram can be used iteratively to communicate and refine the evolving design of a system. They help teams maintain a shared understanding of the code structure, allowing for adaptability and responding the changing requirement. Okay, what is this agile development methodology? Is that So whenever the changes are happening inside the system, okay, it has to be communicated properly, right? That is, first and foremost, when we are started developing a system, a particular model, we'll have some idea. So in between, that idea may change, right? Okay, at that time, that changes, it has to be communicated to the developers properly, in a proper manner. Okay. So for that time, I mean, for that purpose, this class diagram is very much useful, because if you are including some attributes, if you are removing something, if you are including some functions, so everything will be depicted in this class diagram. So it can be easily communicated, that is, in a iterative manner, it can be easily communicated to the developers. So we are coming to the end of this. Okay. Okay. So the thing is that what we have seen in this is, so we have seen what is meant by UML. Okay. And two diagrams, that is use case diagram and class diagram. So how to draw and star UML, and then industry-based question related to this use case diagram and class diagram. Okay. I hope this video helps you to understand what is the basic concept of UML, and how to go with this use case diagram and class diagram. Thank you.